Are Pokemon games getting too easy?
Let's talk about it.
Welcome back to another Let's Talk Pokemon video, the show where we discuss various Pokemon topics. This week we're discussing difficulty in Pokemon games.
Or the lack thereof.
Well, Pokemon games are designed at children, so it makes sense that they're not the most difficult games.
Yeah, but they do have the depth to them.
Yeah, what with the competitive scene. There's definitely a large adult audience, and it would be nice if they catered to them a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd love a game where you could be playing and it'd be like playing competitively against people.
Oh, yeah, that would be good practice
Like
too.
the
for
random
competitive.
trainers having strategies and...
Yeah, and held items that you would see in actual competitive battles, and...
Yeah. I mean, that's something that we don't have.
Mm.
But that
Well,
could...
you sort of... They've added battle modes and stuff over the years for that sort of thing. Like the Battle Frontier and the Battle Tower and stuff, which is really cool. I don't usually do too much of them, but yeah, it's a good post-game thing.
Yeah. Well, do you think, with the main story of the Pokemon games and such, is there a point where you found them to be getting easy?
Oh, yeah. I would say the 3DS era. X, Y, Sun, Moon. Before that, on the DS... Yeah, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Diamond, Pearl, Black and White, Black 2, White 2, they all had a certain amount of difficulty to them. But X and Y, that's when they added the EXP all. Like the EXP share would work for everyone.
Yeah.
It would be like something you turn on and off. It got worse in Sword and Shield when you couldn't turn it off. Well, I think Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee also had that as well. But yeah, that kind of ruins my playstyle. Like, I like having to use different Pokemon as my main and switching it up.
Having to manage...
Yeah, having to manage the levels, that way one doesn't get way overpowered. And I just wish that was something you could turn on and off in the newer games. I get it, people don't necessarily want to train up their entire team, but it'd be nice if they had the option for it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what in X and Y, what else made it easier than the prior games?
Okay, so there were a couple things in X and Y that made it too easy for me. The first thing was, I always felt way over-leveled. Like, my Pokemon were like 10 levels higher than they should be. And that's not because I was particularly grinding. I like to stay a couple levels under. That's my preferred play method.
Because when you get to a gym, like, you want to have a challenge.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
expect
It's
to
no
be
fun to
underleveled.
one-shot everything. But, yeah, so being over-leveled. But the other problem was, the gym leaders, that they had like 3 moves. Like, I understand if you're like the first gym leader, yeah, sure, your Pokemon's only level 15. It makes sense that you only have 2 or 3 moves on it. But if you've got level 40 Pokemon, level 50 Pokemon, you should have a full set of 4 moves. And they do that so that they don't have type advantage, which
Yeah,
is just too
it's
intentionally...
terrible. I think the worst case of that actually came afterwards with the Elite Four in Sun and Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Hala had 2 moves on 3 of his Pokemon.
Yeah, terrible.
It's an Elite Four trainer.
Yeah,
You
Elite
should
4
have
trainers should all have...
a full set of 4 moves on
Not
every
only
single
that,
Pokemon.
all Elite Four members, in my opinion, should have at least like citrus berries and
Yeah.
things on the Pokemon. They
And
don't
of
need to
those
have
4
them.
moves, type coverage as well. That's
Oh
so
yeah.
important.
Like if you look at Cynthia's move set on her Pokemon, I know she's the champion of Diamond and Pearl, but if you look at it, she like basically covers all her weaknesses. It's such a good battle. I also like when they have setup moves.
Like Swords Dance.
Yeah. Like Hala, we were talking about. His Poliwrath, it only has a water move and a fighting move. Of course, that's good. Stab, that's good. You should always have stab moves on your Pokemon, but you should have a move that's there for type coverage.
Yeah, 100%.
And also some strategy moves, like Chuck. Way more challenging than Hala with his Poliwrath. His Poliwrath has Dynamic Punch.
And
which-
Hypnosis.
Yeah, Hypnosis puts you to sleep, then the Dynamic Punch can go off without any issues. Like, that's way better. And Chuck's only like the 5th gym leader in his game.
Yeah. So we've talked about X and Y being the point where it got easier with the 3DS games.
And then it only got easier in Sun and Moon, I think.
Although Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon had that battle with Necrozma,
Which was harder.
notoriously difficult.
Yep, and also their Elite Four were a bit tougher. They actually had 4 moves.
But as you were saying like earlier to me, you were saying that the third version.
Yeah, I
or
always
the
find that
sequels,
the third
sorts.
version or the sequels or the remakes, they always seem to be the tougher game. Like, Platinum is tougher than Diamond and Pearl, in my opinion. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, they're tougher than Gold and Silver. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, easier at the start, but towards the end, I find that Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire has more difficulty because they have like higher level Pokemon, Mega Stones. I mean, we also get Mega capable. Even like Wally, he's way tougher in ORAS than he is in Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah, that's another exception to the 3DS rule.
Yeah.
Of that era.
Yeah, because even though X and Y and Sun and Moon, they were easy, because Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is a remake, I feel as though they intentionally tried to keep it closer to the difficulty of the original and upped some of the trainers as well. So that's good. It's probably my favorite of the 3DS era Pokemon games.
I'd probably have to agree with that. Do you think in the Switch era, I mean, we've only got Sword and Shield so far, do you think that's gotten easier, or...
I would say so. Look at Let's Go Eevee. I mean, some people will contest that Let's Go Eevee isn't a main series game. Whenever I do any posts on Twitter about Let's Go, which isn't very often, people will argue in the comments if it's a main series game or not.
Like every time you put what's your favourite starter and you put Eevee into the...
I did
the
that
group.
once,
Yeah.
but people were arguing that Eevee is not a starter, and I sort of agree, but yeah. Do you consider Let's Go a main series game?
No.
Yeah.
It's the mechanics are completely different.
Yeah,
They
it's
removed
missing
a bunch of
core
moves.
mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not just the moves they removed. They removed core mechanics like abilities, held items.
Battling wild Pokemon.
Yeah, it has the structure of a main series game. You battle gym leaders and stuff like that, and I can sort of see why people would think it is a remake of Yellow. It is, but it's just too different to the core series that I don't really see it a core series game.
Yeah.
And even when they announced it, they were saying, "Don't worry, we've got a core series game, a more traditional core series game coming next year with Sword and Shield."
How do you think the Diamond and Pearl remakes are gonna compare?
Oh, I hope that they are on the level of Diamond and Pearl.
Platinum even.
Yeah, Platinum would be better. I have a lot more to say about what I want for Diamond and Pearl remakes, so we'll save
That's
that for
a whole
another
nother
video.
video.
Yep.
Yeah. But do you think that our experience also plays a role in the difficulty?
Yes and no. Like, if I went back and played Pokemon Yellow now, it would be way easier than when I played Pokemon Yellow when I was 5. But
Although I was playing Yellow before, and like, it's kind of more difficult because of the broken mechanics, not by design. The experience, I think, plays a small part.
yeah, I think it does too. But if you go back and play them, I still think that they are harder than what we've got now.
Because I think back to my first playthrough of Black and White, all new Pokemon, not knowing the types of all the Pokemon made it a little bit more difficult. And I think that's something that you can't unlearn.
Just learning type advantage makes the game easier. Like, if you have ever tried using normal moves against a rock Pokemon,
Oh,
you're
it's a
gonna do
nightmare.
nothing.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've talked about how more recent games are easier. Well, what made some of the older games more harder, would you say?
Ooh. Well, I think saying, obviously, the EXP all, that's like one thing that's always going to make the games more difficult. I think early game was always more difficult in the other games.
Yeah, like, especially... it depends on the game and what starter you chose, really. Like, if you choose Chikorita, yeah, sure, Gold and Silver's going to be tough.
Sure.
If you choose Charmander in Red and Blue, Brock's going to be tough.
I think the gym leaders
Yeah, yeah.
were definitely a challenge where they should be. They were always higher leveled than everything else.
Yeah, and I feel as though some of the AI were smarter. Some of them had way better strategies. Even the movesets on the Pokemon were a bit more annoying.
I mean, we were talking about Chuck earlier. That's something that was pretty difficult.
Yeah, Whitney's Miltank, that was...
Was it a nightmare as a kid?
Yeah, milk drink to recover health, roll out, which got stronger and stronger, attract.
Nowadays, the gym leaders don't even have that kind of strategy, which is a real shame because I found that to be part of the fun. I know it's not related to battling difficulty, but traversing the landscape, since it's become 3D, I think that's another part that's become a lot more easier. Because I found myself getting lost in the caves of, like, Mount Moon. And you look at it, like, from afar, it's not that big of a puzzle, but it felt like the world was a lot bigger back then.
Like Rock Tunnel, for instance. If you didn't have Flash in the old games, that was super difficult to traverse. The Generation 3 games, they made it easier by having a light circle around your character, which is good. I like that.
Did I ever tell you about the time that I played the demo for Ruby and Sapphire? Because it was sold out everywhere, and there was a Game Boy...
A kiosk thing inside the shops.
And I was playing that, and I came to Dewford.
Yep.
And I went into that cave, and I thought that was just the way that caves were at that point. So I made my way through that entire cave, and now I can do that every time without getting...
Oh, that's not a tough cave, though.
It's not, but...
The HMs, they imposed a certain level of difficulty because you either had to have a HM slave or you had to teach your good Pokemon crappy moves that you can't remove.
A wasted move slot.
Yeah. Not all HMs are crappy, though. Surf, fantastic.
Strength
is decent.
Waterfall, if you've got a physical water.
Yeah,
Pokemon.
yeah. Fly, to an extent. Its damage is decent. I just hate that as 2-turn attack.
Fly is great for traversing the world, though.
Oh, yeah.
But now you don't have to worry about that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's all baked into the game.
Which I'm not a fan of, personally.
Yeah, like, HMs, it's... While they're annoying, it's kind of...
Adds to the fun challenge.
Yeah, having to manage your HMs and
management
dispersing...
isn't a thing anymore, because you used to have the bag management, which it was terrible.
I hated the bag storage space of like 20 or whatever it was.
But it was another mechanic that made it a challenge.
This next thing I'm going to mention, I think, is further proof of the games getting easier. In all of the old games, it'd always be that your opponent chose the starter Pokemon, which is super effective against yours.
Yeah.
That is not a thing anymore.
Didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
It's just become so ingrained into the series.
Yeah. Your rival would always pick after you and they'll pick the thing that's good against yours. But nowadays, they always pick the thing weaker to yours.
We do have something slightly different for Sword and Shield. You have the main... the champion, Leon, has the Pokemon that neither of you chose, which is the super effective thing in the final battle, which I think is kind of cool, but it's not...
I agree, but by the time you've reached the final battle, or you've got more Pokemon in your team, you probably have a counter to that.
True. But yeah, that is definitely something, because I can remember the amount of times I had trouble with my rival battle.
Oh yeah, especially in like Leaf Green and Fire Red, Ruby and Sapphire,
Heart Gold,
Soul Silver. Yeah. But with the games getting easier now, people have taken it into their own hands to create their own level of difficulty. Nuzlocke, they're infamous for being tricky. You can only catch the first Pokemon you encounter on each route, and if it faints, it's dead, and you have to release it.
Yep.
Done a few Nuzlocke in my time.
Yeah, same. Only successfully done one. That was X and Y.
Makes sense. Easy game.
Yeah.
Another one that's getting popular over the last couple of years it was around for a long time, but it's just been getting more popular with YouTubers doing it, is the Can I Beat using only a single Pokemon. And I like that style. I think they're pretty fun challenge. I've done one.
We've done quite a few challenges ourselves.
Yeah, we come up with our own rule sets, which is always fun. One of us will be in the mood to play a Pokemon game, and we'll convince the other one to play with us as well. And then we
it'd just be like, "Hey Ryan, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, this time."
And then we both come up back and forth with different ideas for what we could do for the rule set. Or maybe we can only use this type of Pokemon, or maybe we'll
randomize it.
Yeah, we'll do a number generator, or maybe you pick 3, I pick 3, and then we'll shuffle them and
6 each.
Yeah.
Do you have any particular favorites of the playthroughs that we've done?
One of my favorites that we've done is the one that we did on Ruby and Sapphire and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, we did it twice, where we had to catch a full team of 6 Pokemon, then we'd battle the gym leader, then we'd have to put them all in the PC, and then catch a new 6 Pokemon and use them for the next gym leader, and then so on and so on.
You weren't allowed to double up on Pokemon that you've used.
Yep, so if you used a
Wingull, you couldn't use a Pelipper later.
Yep. That was a really fun playthrough.
The Pokemon weren't allowed to be... they weren't allowed to have any Pokemon that were 5 levels higher than the rest.
Yes, they all had to stay around the same level, and because EXP wasn't a thing, it meant actually having to use those Pokemon.
Yep.
There was some differences between those playthroughs because TMs, relearnable, multiple use TMs in Generation 5 onwards.
Yeah, because I remember your strategy for Norman.
Toxic on everything, protect on everything.
Very cheap. Whereas I saved my fighting types to catch later. So.
See, I didn't do that. But yeah, in a ways, having TMs that you can teach to everything does make it easier.
Yep.
But I wouldn't go back to the old way, just because if you're making Pokemon for competitive,
it's a nightmare to
do
another playthrough
just to get one TM that you need. Speaking of making Pokemon for competitive, it's so much easier these days, which is really good.
Yeah, that's something I welcome.
In the older games, they made those numbers hidden. You wouldn't actually know your IVs unless you used a calculator outside of the game based on your stats.
Yep.
Also, EV training, effort values, they're a lot easier now as well.
You can change natures with the mints.
Yes.
Now.
Yep. You can change abilities with the ability capsules and the ability patch.
Yep. So you could theoretically take a piece of trash Pokemon and make it perfect.
Yep, which is good because, like, in a regular playthrough of Pokemon, you don't need to have a good nature or a good IVs or anything like that to just do the story. But if you wanted to use that Pokemon in competitive or in some of the harder battle modes, well, you can. You can make it stronger. And
I think that's good for people that you choose their starter and that's their buddy.
Yeah.
And they want to use it for things and they can make it perfect with little to no effort.
Or if you catch a shiny and it happens to be terrible, wrong nature, bad stats, or wrong ability, Another one of our challenges that I enjoyed was our Sword and Shield one, where we put all 400 Pokemon into a random number generator, and
we actually removed the evolutions as well, so that way some Pokemon didn't have a higher chance.
Yeah. Otherwise, the free stage evolutions would have a higher chance of the single stage evolutions, and also you're more likely to get double of them. Probably not going to happen, but possible.
Yeah.
So that was a fun playthrough.
Made me realize how much I hated Dreepy.
Yep, and it made me realize how much I liked Sinistea. Yeah, it was really cool.
That's another thing about like the challenges. I know it's not related to difficulty, but you find new Pokemon that you like.
Yeah, it's always fun to get a new favorite.
Yeah.
Because if I was doing a playthrough, I would usually pick the Pokemon that I like to catch. You know?
Yeah, you wouldn't have caught the little teacup on your first playthrough. You would have been like, oh, it's a teacup. What's the point?
I mean, some people may have, but
yeah,
that's not how I would have gone in. Yeah.
But now it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and like by giving them a nickname and tough battles with them, it kind of makes you grow fonder of that Pokemon, having a story associated with it. You know what I would love if Pokemon did? A difficulty setting. So many games use a difficulty setting. An easy, medium, hard mode. Very hard in some games.
Oh, could you imagine a very hard?
Oh, that'd be so good. All of the trains would be like way stronger. They'd all have held items. Even the schoolboys, they would have
like solid strategies.
Yeah. That'd be amazing. We sort of had that with Black 2, White 2. They're the only games to do a mode like that.
Unfortunately, they were hard to unlock. You had to finish the game, and then
you had to specifically finish Black 2 to get the hard key, and then you could transfer the hard key to another copy of the game. And
very hard to do. So now I have 2 copies of Black 2 just for that purpose.
Yep, good. The hard mode, the trainers would have like an additional Pokemon, and they would have
held items.
They would have better moves.
I mean, we touched on the battle towers earlier, but I just wanted to say that with the battle towers, it shows that they can have NPCs and AI with these sound strategies.
Yeah, for sure.
So they could definitely implement them into the main story.
Like I did some Battle Mason back during X and Y, and that was fun. And I, lost. It's tough. You know what else I like? When you can battle legendary Pokemon. That's really cool. I wish more trainers in games had legendary Pokemon. Some of the ones in those battle towers and
Like Older's grandson.
that
team.
White Forest and Black City,
Black Tower, yeah.
Black Tower, those were really fun.
Yeah.
And
I remember going through them. We were doing that around the same sort of time. And we both got
we wanted our shiny Pokemon.
Yeah, shiny Gible and Dratini.
And Black 2 White 2 also had a shiny Haxorus that you could get for completing the Pokedex, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think that was the first game I completed a National Dex. Living Dex. That's the first game I completed a Living Dex for.
It was the same for me.
Completing a Living Dex is a lot of fun. That's another way of not adding difficulty, but adding more stuff to do to a Pokemon game.
A different kind of difficulty. Getting shiny Pokemon used to be difficult.
Ooh, yeah.
Now it's pretty easy.
It's a lot easier, but it's still difficult. You have to commit a lot of time to it.
I think we've pretty much covered most of the elements of difficulty
I think so.
in this. So, ideally moving forward, if you were to be in charge of the difficulty level of Pokemon games, what would you do?
I would add a difficulty choice, for sure. Easy, medium, hard. If you chose the hard mode, no tutorials, that's only in like easy and normal.
I think with the difficulty, on hard mode, I'd definitely give the AI strategies with their movesets.
For sure. Strategies with their movesets, more movesets, maybe more Pokemon, couple levels higher Pokemon, better AI. I would also like to see more stuff done with the post-game. I always love when you have a way to rebattle the old gym leaders. Like in Heart Gold Soul Silver, where you could rebattle the gym leaders and they had much stronger Pokemon. Really like that. I also like having like a really strong post-game boss, like Red in Heart Gold Soul Silver.
Yep.
Or
Wally.
Yep.
Oraz.
Or Barry in Diamond Pearl. He would get stronger the more you beat the Elite Four. In Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, with the evil teams all working together, Team Rainbow Rocket.
Yep.
That was cool. But just some more high-level opponents. Well, I think that basically covers the difficulty of Pokemon games. Let me know in the comments below if you think Pokemon games are getting too easy. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like to see more Pokemon content videos like this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video, and I'll explain you later.